Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to level up your way with words and become much more articulate. In today's episode, we're going to be diving into the world of creativity, and we're going to be talking about how to manage creative people. There's two types of creative people out there. One is what I call the one-hit wonder. They show up every now and then they disappear. They're not reliable, and they bring in more headaches than productivity. The other type of creative person is what I call the person with a proven track record. Sure, they have anger issues, they are haunted by their own greatness, but they consistently surprise you in a good way. Today's video is about this group of people, the one with a proven track record. How exactly do you manage them? You have them in your team and you're capable of seeing something. Yes, this person is great, but this person is volatile in nature. Let's address the volatility part, because if we understand why creative people are highly unpredictable, we don't personalize their outbursts or anything like that. The reason that a lot of creative people are unpredictable is because we need to understand what creativity is. Creativity is different from imagination. Creativity is kinetic energy, while imagination is potential. Now, you get imagination from emotions, okay? The more chaotic the emotions, and the more the mind can tame these chaotic emotions, the higher that your imagination gets. And the more that you can turn that imagination into output, the more creativity that you get. So whenever you're seeing the creative output, do not mistake it as the input. Trace it back. Creativity comes from imagination, and imagination comes from a mind structuring strong emotions. Strong emotions is what you need to be understanding. The same creative people that are consistently delivering brilliance have strong emotions. These strong emotions allow for the brilliant work, but at the same time, it leads to unpredictability. If you, as the manager, can understand this from the very beginning, then you have a leg up. You don't personalize it when these individuals are acting out of character. Now that we understand why these individuals are volatile, let's talk about how to manage them. Here's the thing. You don't want to manage them too much. That's why let's go with a very simple framework. Praise and space. Praise does not mean to kiss their ass. Praise means to notice details in their work and articulate it out loud. So let's say that you have a book cover designer and this guy did a great job. Notice exactly what this person did great. Oh, look at him blending the colors on the head to the background. I really like that. Don't just acknowledge it internally, articulate it out loud. Whenever you articulate a creative person's work to them, that means you noticed it. And when you notice something of their art, they view it as praise. That's one way in order to manage them and to make sure that they consistently bring quality at your door. The next thing that you want to do is you want to give them space. See, one mistake that a lot of managers make is that they get these creative people, they put them in an office meeting with a bunch of uncreative people, and they're just talking and talking away. Here's the thing with meetings. A lot of these meetings have a law of diminishing returns, where a meeting that should have only lasted 10 minutes has gone up to 55 minutes, and nothing is being addressed. There's just more confusion that's being introduced. This creative individual already solved the problem in the first 5 minutes. So this is why you have to give these individuals space. There's this common adage that says that a lot of individuals work best in teams. That's not always true. Some people work great in teams, while a lot of other people work best solo. Okay? And if you see that this individual is highly disengaged from a meeting, it's best to just let them do their own thing and figure out the solutions for themselves. This is, if you ever want to see this concept in action, check out the documentary The Last Dance on Netflix. This was a documentary that talked about Michael Jordan's rise to the top, how Chicago Bulls dominated the 90s. And around this one part of the documentary, it starts to zone in on this player named Dennis Rodman. Dennis was a brilliant defender, rebounder, and he was a great force in Chicago Bulls for them winning those championships. But the thing with Dennis Rodman was he was unpredictable. Sometimes he would have a couple of great games, and then he needed to party. I'm not just saying needed in a regular way. I'm saying needed. It was a must. And if he didn't get that, then he started to act out. Phil Jackson, the coach, he could have easily have been like, no, Dennis, you have to practice with your team. Come into the meetings and let's keep you cooped up here. But that's not what Phil Jackson did. Phil Jackson instead was like, okay, you can go to Vegas for these couple of days, but I need you back for the actual game. This was completely counterintuitive in nature, and I'm pretty sure in the 90s, no other coach would have allowed that. But Phil Jackson, he understood how to manage creative people properly. And that's why Dennis Rodman, every now and then, he went a little too far. But for the most part, that strategy worked. By the time he came back from energizing, he dominated the games that he played. So space helps out tremendously. All in all, creative people are not the easiest groups of people to manage. You can make a case that they're the hardest groups of them all to manage. But if they're consistently producing great work and they have a proven track record, then every now and then you just gotta hit them with that praise and space and allow them to keep delivering quality at your front door. So if you enjoyed today's video, go on and drop that like for me right on below, and I will catch you on the next episode. Thank you for joining me.